Welcome to MT Eduworld. In the today's session, we will be studying underwriting of shares and debentures. Okay, so come on, let's get started. To understand the concept, let us first understand the concept of issue of shares, wherein the importance of underwriters arise. For example, this is a company. Okay, for example, this is a company. Okay, this is a company. For example, this is a company. Now if this company want to raise funds, for example, if it want to issue 10,000 shares, 10,000 shares of rupees, yeah, at the rate of, for example, 10, so total amount comes to 1 lakh rupees. Okay, so what it will do is it will reserve some part of the issue for the promoters, right? Then directors, employees, etc., right? And rest, how much? For example, out of these 10,000 shares, for example, 1,000 shares are reserved for the promoters, directors and employees. Then the of the rest of the 9,000 shares, okay, rest of the 9,000 shares will be issued to the public. Now this concept of underwriting starts from here. Now see, the entire concept revolves around the risk which is associated while issuing the shares to the public. If there is a risk, then the role of underwriters comes into picture. If there is no risk, the role of underwriters doesn't come into picture. Okay, so let us understand here. Okay, so out of 10,000 shares, out of these 10,000 shares, if we are going to issue 9,000 shares to the public, 1,000 are set aside, reserved for promoters, directors and employees. Underwriters are nowhere related or concerned with the reserved part, that is the shares which already promoters are going to take up, already directors are going to take up, already the employees are going to take up. We know, we are sure about those shares to be taken up by the promoters or directors or the employees, but as far as public is concerned, we are not sure whether all of the 9,000 shares will be taken up by the public or not. And there is a law, as per law, at least 90%, at least 90% of the issue should be subscribed by the public. And if 90% of the issue is not subscribed by the public, then the company has to refund the entire amount. Company has to refund the entire amount. Now you may have a doubt. For example, out of these 9,000 shares, for example, public have applied for the shares and they have given us the application money, for example, for 8,000 shares. For example, 8,000 shares. Sir, is it possible that we will take the money of 8,000 shares and we will look afterwards about 1,000 shares? No, it is not permitted by law. As per law, only if you receive 90% of the amount, yeah, 90% of the shares, then only you can issue the shares, or else you cannot issue only. You cannot take the amount. Whatever applications you have received for the money, you have to refund them. Entire amount should be refunded. Entire amount. For example, we got money of 8,000. For example, we have issued the shares. We have issued the shares at 15, for example. So 5 is the premium amount here. So into 15. So whatever amount we have received from the public, entire amount has to be refunded if 90% of the issue is not received. So for example, 9,000, what is the 90% of 9,000? 9,000 into 90%. So it is 8,100 shares, right? So 8,100 shares. Yeah, if I talk in terms of amounts, then 81,000. So 81,000 shares has to be applied by the public, and if it is not applied, then I cannot issue the shares. I will have to refund all the amount to the shareholders, to the applicants, right? So this is the concept. Now, so we have a risk. It means, see, whenever we will issue the shares of 9,000, there can be three cases, right? First case can be at the time of issue of shares. At the time of issue of shares, there can be three cases. First, for example, if we want to issue 9,000 shares, 9,000 shares. So first case can be full subscription. Full subscription. Full subscription means we want to issue 9,000 shares and public has also applied exactly for 9,000 shares, right? So the amount is equal. So it is called as full subscription. If this is the case, then we can issue our shares. We can take the amount, right? Okay. Second case may be over subscription. Over subscription. Matlab, public have applied for more shares, more applications. How much shares we need to be issued? 9,000 shares. But public, for example, public have applied for 9,500 shares or more than 9,000 shares. In that case, it is called as oversubscription. And the third case is under subscription. Third case is the case of under subscription. Under subscription. Under subscription, our requirement was 9,000, but public subscribed, yeah, applied only for 8,000 shares. 8,000 shares. So this situation is under subscription. And here we have a risk. See, if 9,000 shares were required and 9,000 shares, we got the application 9,000 shares, then it's always full subscription. No problem, we will issue the shares. There is no risk attached to it. Over subscription, it is good. What we'll do in this case? We needed 9,000 shares, the amount of 9,000. We'll take that amount and we will refund extra 500 shares. But in case of under subscription, we got only 8,000 shares, right? So here we have risk that what if this under subscription case comes below 90% of issue. What it comes below 90% of issue? In that case, we cannot issue the shares only. We cannot take amount from the public only. So there comes the risk. So to cope up with the risk, underwriters comes into picture. They give guarantee that if public doesn't subscribe for your shares, we will help you. We assure that if public doesn't subscribe for your shares, we will subscribe for the shares. We will take up the shares. And they charge commission for it. They will not do freely, right? So they take what? Commission. So our next concept is commission. So the concept of underwriting is what? In case of under subscription, company has a risk that its shares may be undersubscribed. So in that case, if the shares are undersubscribed and if the minimum requirement of 90% is not met, then company cannot issue the shares and company cannot fund it. The company cannot take the amount from the public. So in that case, it's a risky proposal, and so therefore, in general, yeah, generally company gives those shares to underwriters. They go into agreement with the underwriters. So come on. So let us understand what the concept of underwriting. So let us write the meaning. Let us write the meaning of underwriting, right? Let us write the meaning of underwriting. But before writing the meaning of underwriting, the concept which I explained you, if 8,100 out of 9,000, 8,100 shares are not applied by the public, then I will have to refund the amount. So there will be loss for me, because at the time of issue of shares, I need to commit, I need to incur what? Issue expenses, share issue expenses, right? Share issue expenses, right or wrong? And other also, there are many other expenses. So all those expenses will go in when? So it will be loss for me, right? So therefore generally company go for underwriter, yeah, underwriting, right? Underwriting agreement. So let us write the meaning of underwriting now. I'm giving you the meaning of underwriting. Chalo, let us write the meaning of underwriting first, and then we will go to the next concept called as underwriting commission. Okay, so according to SEBI, according to whom? according to according to SEBI, according to SEBI, underwriting means underwriting means what does underwriting mean? It is an agreement. Underwriting, what is underwriting? Underwriting is an agreement. Okay, what is underwriting? It is an agreement, right? Agreement with or without conditions, with or without conditions. For what? To subscribe to the securities, to subscribe to these securities. Now securities includes shares and debentures. Acha, shares also includes equity shares and preference shares. So to subscribe to the securities of a body corporate, of a body of a body corporate, of a body corporate, when the existing shareholders, when the existing shareholders of such body corporate, of such a body corporate or public, or public do not subscribe, do not subscribe to the securities offered to them. So here the meaning is very crystal clear to all of us now. See here, underwriting according to SEBI. Okay, underwriting means what? It is an agreement with or without conditions. With or without conditions. So with condition means what? The underwriter can go with the agreement. Yeah, they can go with the conditions. Condition means they can say, see, if shareholders, that is public, subscribe for the shares, then we will not take up the shares. But if they don't, then only we will take up the shares. So this is the condition, right? And there is a concept called as full underwriting, partial underwriting. We will be dealing with it in detail, okay, in the next sessions. So with or without condition, there can be no condition. Without condition, directly, yes, I'll take this amount. They will give guarantee. Okay, for what? Agreement with or without condition. For what? To subscribe to the securities. Now these securities can be what? These securities can be shares or what? Debentures. If I talk about shares, then under shares we have two types. Both types are covered. It can be equity shares or preference shares, right? So to subscribe to the securities of a body corporate of a company, when the existing, very important, when the existing shareholders or public, existing shareholders या फिर public do not subscribe to the securities offered to them. When public or existing shareholders will not subscribe, then only they will take up the shares, right? There is also a concept called as firm underwriting, where there is no condition. Firm underwriting, we will be dealing with it very soon. Okay, now let us go towards the next concept, and concept number 2 is underwriting commission. We will be talking about underwriting. We will be understanding now underwriting commission in detail. Underwriting commission. Okay, we will be talking about underwriting commission now in detail. Right? So come on. Now see, underwriting commission, they are not going to do all the work or take up the shares for free, right? Free of cost. No. So they will charge something that is called as underwriting commission. So whatever consideration which is payable to the underwriters for their services is called as underwriting commission. So it is nothing but, what? It is nothing but, I can say it is nothing but consideration. It is nothing but what? Consideration. It is nothing but consideration payable to, underwriters. Consideration payable to underwriters for the services rendered by them, right? Now you need to remember one thing here, that no commission on securities not offered to public. There will be no commission given to the underwriters on the securities which are not offered to public. Yes, I already told you here that we will not be talking about this part. We will be talking about this part because out of 10,000 shares, 1,000 shares, these 1,000 shares are already reserved for these people. So we know that promoters are going to take this many number of shares. The directors are going to take this much of the shares, or employees are going to take 100 shares, whatever the amount, yeah, quantity will be. We know that. So as we don't have any risk associated with those 1,000 shares, why will I assign those shares to underwriters? Why will I give commission for those shares to underwriters? I will not give. I will not give. So the commission which will be given to the underwriters, that commission will be for these 9,000 shares, right? 9,000 shares. So second point is that no commission will be given on securities, which are not offered, which are not offered to public, right? Now third point. Now see, commission. So what about the rate? How much commission should be paid to the underwriters? So there are specified rates given as per Companies Act and as per SEBI regulations and Ministry of Finance also. So let us have a look on these rates. Okay, so we'll write the point as that commission is paid at specified rate, right? So paid, so commission is paid at a specified rate. At a specified rate. On what, sir? Commission is paid at specified rate. About that rate, Companies Act has given some rates and SEBI or Ministry of Finance has given some rates. We will check those rates right now. But sir, this commission is paid at a specified rate on what? On which amount? So always on, right, I will highlight it by another pen, on issue price. On issue price of what? Issue price of whole of issue. Whole of issue underwritten. Right? So commission is paid at what? Specified rate. This is also important. At what specified rate? On what? Issue price. Of what? Whole of the issue underwritten. Okay. Sir, what are the rates? Please tell us about the rates now. So next point is about the rates only. Sir, what is the maximum rate? What is the maximum rate on issue price? So let us check what are the maximum rates on issue price. Rate of what? Commission. So as per, if I talk about Companies Act, so I'm writing here as per Companies Act. Companies Act 2013 now, right? So as per Companies Act 2013. So as already told to you, if we talk about securities, we talk about shares and debentures, right? We talk about shares and we talk about debentures. So I'll bifurcate it into two parts, right? So I'll say shares and I'll say debentures, right? Shares and second what? Debentures. Debentures. As far as shares is concerned, yeah, shares are concerned, here the maximum rate is a 5%. The maximum rate is 5%, or rate authorized by article of association. Article of association, whichever is lower. Whichever is lower. Whichever is lower. So what about debentures? As far as debentures are concerned, the maximum rate is 2%. What is the maximum rate? 2%, or rate authorized by article of association, whichever is lower. Okay, so 2% or rate authorized by article of association, whichever is lower. Whichever is lower. So this is as per Companies Act. Okay, so the maximum rate, if I talk about the maximum rate, what can be the maximum rate? Acha, this is the maximum rate about the shares. If I talk about the shares, 5% is the maximum rate. 5% is the maximum rate, or the rate authorized by article of association. For example, let us take one example here. Okay, the rate as authorized by AOA, मतलब article of association, rate as per AOA is, for example, 6%, right? But can we give commission at 6%? No. Why? Because our formula is 5%, 5% or 6%, whichever is lower, right? Because 5% or rate authorized by AO. Now here rate authorized by AO is 6%, for example, and this is 5%, whichever is lower. Which is lower among these two? 5% is lower. So we can give commission at the rate of 5% only. We cannot give commission at the rate of 6%. Got it? So here the answer will be 5%. At times it can be, for example, the maximum rate is 5%, but underwriters and company can decide a rate below 5%. If they are agreeing, that's fine, that's okay. They can go with 4%, 3%, 2%. Okay, so it depends upon the agreement between the underwriter and the company. Okay, so got it. Now let us understand the rates as per SEBI. As I told you, maximum rate as per Companies Act 2013 we are going to study, and also as per SEBI regulations. So now as per SEBI regulations, right? Now as per SEBI regulations, and Ministry of Finance, MF शॉर्ट में लिख देता हूं मैं, Ministry of Finance, what will be the maximum rate? I am talking about the maximum rate of commission. So what will be the maximum rate of commission, what will be the maximum rate of commission? So here I will plot one table for you. Okay, I'll plot one table for you. Okay, we need three columns. We need three columns. Okay, chalo, we are done with our table. We are done with our table. Fine enough. Okay, so we are done with our table. So nature of issue, we'll write here nature of issue. Here we'll write amount devolving on underwriters. And amount, here we'll write amount subscribed by public. Amount subscribed by public. Amount subscribed by public. So first, let us take the first criteria. First criteria will be for the equity shares. Equity shares. Acha, as per Companies Act, it has bifurcated the securities. It has bifurcated the securities into what, sir? Into shares and debentures. Into shares and debentures. For shares 5% and for debentures 2%, or the rate authorized by AOA, whichever is lower, right? Now, as per SEBI regulations, it has divided the securities in two forms. First, equity shares, and second, preference shares and debentures. Preference shares and debentures. So preference shares and debentures together. Why? Because equity shares have variable earnings. Yeah, dividend we can say, right? But as far as preference shares or debentures, fixed. Debenture, the interest is fixed. For preference shares, the dividend is fixed. So they have bifurcated securities this way, right? So under preference shares or debentures, we have two cases. We have two cases. A, issue amount. If the issue amount of preference shares or debenture is up to rupees 5 lakhs, rupees 5 lakhs, and B, issue amount, if the issue amount is exceeding rupees 5 lakh, if the issue amount is exceeding rupees 5 lakh. Let us see what happens in this case. These rates are very important. Please pay attention and remember. So equity shares, here it is 2.5%. Amount devolving on underwriters 2.5%. Amount subscribed by public 2.5%. Same. But in case of equity shares, there is no issue. 2.5%, 2.5%, same. But when we talk about preference shares or debentures, if the issue amount is up to 5 lakh, then the amount devolving on underwriter is 2.5%. But on that is the amount subscribed by public, it is 1.5%. Here it is 2% and here it is 1%. Here it is 1%. Got it? So as per SEBI regulation, okay, as per SEBI regulations and Ministry of Finance, the maximum rate of commission is different. Now see, among, sir, then there are two rates as per Companies Act 2013. Also rates are given, and rates are also given as per SEBI regulations and Ministry of Finance. So which rates to be taken into consideration? If question says the rate is as per Companies Act, we will take those rates. If question says the rates are as per SEBI regulation, yeah, take rates as per SEBI regulation, we will take those. But if the question is mum, question is silent, then we will take the rate which is lower. We'll check that is as per Companies Act, what is the rate coming and what is the rate which comes from the SEBI regulations. We'll take the benefit of the rates because it is expense for the company. So we'll always take the rate whichever is lower. For example, in case of equity shares, as per Companies Act, it is 5% or rate authorized by Article of Association, whichever is lower. For example, it comes to 4, yeah, 5, for example, and here it is already 2.5% fixed. So I'll take 2.5%, right? So we'll give priority to SEBI regulations and Ministry of Finance as the rates are lower. Got it? Now here nature of issue is given, right? Equity shares, preferences, debentures. Okay. Now here there are two columns: amount devolving on underwriters, and second is amount subscribed by public. Right? Maximum rate of commission in case of equity shares. What is the amount devolving on underwriters? 2.5%. Amount subscribed by the public, 2.5%. Let us take one example and then wind up this session. Let us take example to understand it clearly. So for example, a company issues, for example, a company issues 1 lakh shares, 1 lakh shares of rupees 10 each, at rupees 15 per share, 15 per share, right? What is the rate? The rate is equal to 5%, rate 5%, and public subscribed for say 80,000 shares, 80,000 shares. Okay, so public subscribe for 80,000 shares out of 1 lakh. Understand this. A company issues 1 lakh shares. Out of this 1 lakh shares, public have subscribed for 80,000. So how much will be taken up by the underwriters? So underwriters will take how much? Underwriters So underwriters shall take how much? Remaining 20,000 shares. 20,000 shares. Okay. In this case, how we will calculate commission? Calculate, wait, write properly. Calculate underwriting commission. Underwriting commission. So how will we calculate underwriting commission? So we will take how many number of shares? How many number of shares are there? Number of shares. We will take number of shares. So how many number of shares are there? 1 lakh. There are 1 lakh shares. We will not take only these 20,000. We will not take these 20,000. We will take 1 lakh shares whole. I have already written here. Okay, commission is paid at specified rate. That specified rate on issue price. Issue price means we will take 15, not face value. So here in this question, this is face value. This is face value, and this is issue price. Yeah, issue value. We'll take issue value. We'll take issue value. Yeah, issue price, right? So on issue price of the whole of the issue underwritten, whole of issue underwritten, right? So this was important thing. Whole of the issue underwritten. So here in this example, I will multiply it by number of shares multiplied by issue price. Issue price. So what is issue price? 15. 15 multiplied by rate of commission. rate. So what is rate? Rate is given as directly 5%. So I'll simply multiply it by 5%. So amount comes to rupees 75,000. So 75,000 is your commission. Okay. So that's it for the day. I hope you have understood the entire concept. Okay. So bye bye. Take care. Have a nice day.